Okay,
So
we're back.
I showed you this before. The special counsel said Joe Biden, he couldn't prosecute him for having classified documents, the same thing they want to prosecute Trump for, but they couldn't do it to Joe Biden. The special counsel, by the way, which was appointed by Joe Biden. Joe Biden appointed Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland appointed the special guard. So he's not a partisan. This is coming from Joe Biden's administration, the special counsel. And the special counsel said he couldn't prosecute Joe Biden because the jury would just think he's an old man with a bad memory. And that's exactly what would happen. And that would be what. And so now they're freaking out. So now they got corrupt criminals like Bill McKibben to write this. Opinion, age matters, which is why Biden's age is a superpower. He wrote that in the Los Angeles Times.
This is something that's been fucked into my brain for some time.
Yes. And then Seth MacFarlane says this is something that's been fucked into my brain for some time. And Bill McKibben finally articulated it better than I ever could. It's worth the read from start to finish. This is the most...
It's hard for me because my brain's full of dick.
This is called Methinks Thou Protest Too Much. That's what this is.
Well, he's being triggered like an MK Ultra. You know, they
listen to what they've been saying the last couple of days on cable news. Listen to this.
President Biden, who I've been around numerous times just last year, is sharp. He's focused.
And he can see dead people. Biden is sharp, and by sharp I mean that he can cut some solid farts. That's how sharp he is. Me personally, I prefer a president who thinks Mexico is Egypt. I don't know about you. Here we go.
Right.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game, who knows what's going on.
He's smart. He's on his game.
I was in almost every meeting with the president, and the president was in front of and on top of it all, coordinating and directing leaders who are in charge of America's national security, not to mention our allies around the globe.
President Biden.
So, since when in our history, when in the history of the United States has spokespeople for the president have to explain to the American public that the president is sharp and focused? I think they protest too much. Like the guy in the locker room who keeps telling everybody how not gay he is. You know what I'm talking about? The guy, hey, I'm not looking at your ass out of sexual attraction. Right. I'm just setting goals for myself out there. Like, I want your ass by the end of this year, but not in a sexual way. I want to possess it for myself. Okay, this isn't coming out right.
I just want to devour you and become you.
Biden is as sharp as a kindergarten pair of scissors, and he's about as focused as a fucking Bigfoot video.
Well, he only cares about Ukraine. That's a kind of focus.
And you notice how Kamala Harris, when the earbuds go out to tell her what to say, she just starts waving her hands around. I don't know if you noticed that.
She could have used some improv classes. She's not really good at it.
Why do they all? Yes. Why do all those people sound like Ben Shapiro is reading an ad for Sherry's Berries? Well, it's because it is ad copy, but it's ad copy for Demi's Dummy. Listen to this. I think they got money. Listen to this.
Inappropriate criticisms of the president.
So they're talking about the report that the special counsel, again, appointed by Joe Biden's hand-picked guy, Merrick Garland, they're trying to say that guy's a partisan and he was being inappropriate. And what was he saying?
General Eric Holder said the report, quote, contains way too many gratuitous remarks. The gratuitous comments, they're saying it's gratuitous. We certainly agree that it's gratuitous. The gratuitous comments in the report are troubling and they're inappropriate.
Reality is that part of the report does not live in reality. It just doesn't.
So the special counsel is lying about the president's
it was gratuitous, it is unacceptable, and it does not live in reality. That is just the facts.
The comments that were made by that prosecutor, gratuitous, inaccurate, and inappropriate.
Inappropriate criticisms.
So do you remember when the doctors got caught taking bribes from Big Pharma to push the jab? You remember that? We covered that. Do you think the Democrats are paying out money now for people to use the term gratuitous? Because that's what that sounds like to me.
It's a little gratuitous is what it is.
I think that is. I think their use of gratuitous is a little too gratuitous. I think, and inappropriate.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here's more. Here's on MSNBC.
The word of the day of this report came out to describe the descriptions was gratuitous, and I think that was right. There were cheap shots.
I found some of the language in the
cheap
report
shots.
a little bit gratuitous.
You mean the truth?
I think that this special counsel report was gratuitous.
This gratuitous language that he used.
Gratuitous language about.
So you know they all. So they all got. So this is they all got handed the same script.
Yeah.
They all got handed the same script. From Kamala Harris to Morning Joe Ball to this dickweed.
Yeah.
To everybody, to the guy at the State Department, they all. So your media and your government are taking a script reading from the billionaire class because that's where this is coming from. The people who want to keep funding the Ukraine war, the people who want to keep the border wide open, the people who want to keep funding the genocide in Gaza, the people who want to keep you broke and poor and on edge, they're handing these assholes a script and they're reading it as if it's real. So do you understand what Chomsky meant when he said that the media isn't there to give you the news? They're there to manufacture consent for the establishment, which is the billionaire class. That's exactly because all these people are owned by the same handful of billionaires. About 15 billionaires own all the media in the United States.
Yeah, that's in their upline, and then they kick the crap to their downline. Like you're in Scientology. Your whole country is an ancient mystery school religion with a fucking pyramid scheme structure. That's what you're in. That's what this is. So you ever go to an Amway presentation?
Yes.
And he's a diamond. These are like the diamond salesmen of Amway.
Yes.
So they're used like Glengarry Glen Ross. We're like,
that's right.
The leads. And you got to use your scam. They're doing their scam on you.
This is their scam.
His mental acuity.
A very gratuitous hypothetical about Biden's age.
And I think the word gratuitous.
Even Seth Meyers gets the memo.
Wow.
Even Seth Meyers has to repeat the propaganda.
Yeah.
What a fucking... If there's any more anti-comedy guy in the world, it's got to be that guy.
Remember Norm's greatest birthday? I wonder if I should... Or if something's
all
funny,
comedians go, well, before I do this joke, let me see what the great Seth Meyers' opinion.
I wonder, what would Seth Meyers do? Seth Meyers described Norm Macdonald as being a little too honest. Remember that?
Yes.
He goes, but he'll just say the truth.
Yeah.
That's what's lazy. It's lazy and free. Lies are expensive.
Let's take this from, let's get a running start again.
The word of the day of this report came out to describe the descriptions was gratuitous, and I think that was right. There were cheap shots.
I found some of the language in the report a little bit gratuitous.
I think that this special counsel report was gratuitous.
This gratuitous language that he used.
Gratuitous language about his mental acuity.
A very gratuitous hypothetical about Biden's age.
And I think the word gratuitous is generous. There was so much unnecessary, inflammatory, and partisan kind of language that was used about President Biden in there.
There's a Justice Department tradition that you don't interfere with presidential elections. This seems like the height of interference. It's gratuitous.
Republicans making hay out of the gratuitous age comments in the report.
This is a little bit, in my view, beyond editorializing. It is gratuitous political hackery.
All of the other language. We use the word extraneous. We use the word gratuitous. But like I said, I think those are generous words. Those are just actually too nice to say.
What should you say?
They were not supposed to be there.
Yeah, we're supposed to pretend the truth isn't in front of your... how many messages do you need that you shouldn't say the thing that's right in front of your face before you figure out the game?
How people can still watch these news... So that wasn't just one news channel.
People are watching. They're hoping that if you catch it... Here's why they're repeating it. Maybe for some reason you're going on an airport and you have to catch a clip of it because who watches them? So the message is always repeating. So like Radio Free America. This is that Obama thing, the Smith Modernization Act.
Yes.
You keep the propaganda always repeating like you're in North Korea. So in case anybody missed the earlier fucking repetition.
Right. That's it.
Oh, I heard. At least I heard my daily repetition.
Right. So the propaganda needs to be repeated. As George Bush admitted, you have to keep repeating the propaganda over and over. And these journalists, they you know what they do best? They behave themselves. They're not allowed to have their own opinion, and it's forbidden for them to find it odd that you're all saying the same word to each other over and over.
Well, don't worry. I didn't already on my own.
Yeah, that's right. None of them find it odd that they're all saying the same word over and over, and they're saying it to each other. They just have to read from the memo and then shut the fuck up.
Yeah, anything else? To do anything less would be racist.
Good pundit, sit, stay, come, heal.
Yeah. They're part of the dogs of war.
I wonder if they had their sense of irony surgically removed. They can certainly afford it.
Big pile of money.
Here's my new favorite. This is Molly.
This chick's great.
She looks like a cartoon of a person. She looks like if she was 85 years old. That's how like 90-year-old women.
You know what she looks like?
She's in her 40s. This woman's like 40, and she dresses like this and looks like this.
She looks like the guy in Groundhog Day. It's like, hey, Needle Nose Ned.
Yes.
If he transitioned.
Listen to what she says, and listen to her. Listen to this.
Norms are important, right? The reason we're so
norms are important, and one of those norms is ignoring that your president is obviously not in control, demented to the fact where the guy he handpicked to prosecute him said, "I can't prosecute him because he's going to get off because the jury will say he's old and he doesn't have a memory."
Remember when you said adult children of alcoholics?
Yes, we're adult children of alcoholics.
That's what the word norms are important.
So that's right.
Norms are important around this house. You know that.
So this shows you that I've said this for a long time. We're a country full of adult children of alcoholics. You don't get mad at the guy who's fucking you. You get mad at the guy who tells you that some guy is screwing you. And that's what this is. So they're not angry at Joe Biden and the establishment for giving us this demented mummy of a person who's obviously just a tool of the corporations who own him. They're not angry at that. They're angry at that someone told you that he's demented. They're not angry that he's demented. They're angry that someone told you. And here we go. Here we go.
norms are important, right? The reason we're so far along here because norms have not been followed. I would say
norms have not been followed. So she does the vocal fry. She's a grown-up person worth millions of dollars, and she's talking like a valley girl doing vocal fry.
Okay, so just so you know, norms are like laws that you follow because you're a cunt.
I don't think that her is a good faith actor, and I think that 245 pages of that show that. I mean, he's not a neurologist. If you want to weigh in on legal things, that's fine. But, you know, the idea, and again, to fault someone for saying they don't remember during a deposition, when we've seen people like Dr. Anthony Fauci say that hundreds of times during a deposition.
She thinks invoking the fact that Anthony Fauci said, I don't know, hundreds of times when he was doing a deposition about COVID. She thinks that that's a good defense. Again, these people, someone's turning on this to get news. There's people who watch.
Thinking man's Alexander Pelosi?
She thought that was a good defense. That's like.
Nobody's turning it on to get news. People are on like a treadmill or an exercise bike, and they happen to catch a little clip of it on the thing, and it's just enough. That's why it's repeated all day. So, because who's going to watch? If you're dumb enough to believe what this dingbat is saying, you would never, you wouldn't be interested in politics. You'd be interested in Taylor Swift and that football guy. So this is so while you're busy, a liberal on the go, at the gym, at the whatever, you're going to not miss your medicine of hearing this hypnotism, neuro-linguistic programming.
This is your 5 minutes of hate. So
advertising is that. Run it all day. Run the ads all day. They're advertising.
This is your 5 minutes of hate. I need to hate somebody and pretend and block out what's really happening. So what's really happening is you're being ruled by the military-industrial complex and Wall Street and Big Pharma, and they have a demented puppet in the White House. That's the norms. And so people need to block that out. So they turn this on so they can take the hatred they're supposed to have for that, and they can put it at someone who just told them the truth. And that's what Molly Jong-Fast is there to do, is to give you someone to hate besides the actual corrupt system you're supposed to hate. So you take the hatred that's real and should be directed at the powerful who are screwing you, and you take that hatred and you put it towards someone who just told you the truth about that system. That's what Molly Jong-Fast is there. What she's doing right here, sucking horse penises on OnlyFans, has more dignity than what she's doing right here.
Yeah, well, a bit. I mean, I would say she is doing that here. I would say
this is the equivalent of that.
Yeah, as above, so below, as they say.
As above, so below. As within, as without.
That's what you're supposed to say if you don't remember, because you don't want to be wrong. And so I do think he sort of picked up things that are tactics that people.
He picked up tactically tactics.
That was the name of my other improv.
That was
tactics.
That was tactically tactics is here. Now I need a location. Okay, a news set. Now I need a topic. Covering up for the establishment and that they appointed a demented guy to do the bidding of the military-industrial complex.
Norms are important.
And
like
I need
slavery.
a job.
Slavery's a norm.
Look, she has that face. That's
yeah.
How's that?
I got this job as a priest of the devil to put his message across this earth.
That's a real person. That's a real person on television.
I'm a norms nun.
She has 1 million followers on Twitter.
No, she doesn't. No, she don't.
Not real, right?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
Nobody's watching this shit or believing this shit. They buy it. They get fake. This has been going on for years, as long as it's been around. They're fucking fake. The YouTube channels that are like, oh, Ukraine's really kicking ass.
Yes.
And I'm like, you have 100,000 views? No, they don't.
I know.
No, they don't. It's some fucking government lie program. And you get in trouble when you mention it.
That's right. And you know the people who are in on that, right? You know who is in the corporate algorithm, right? So it's the MSNBC contract people, it's the TYTs, it's now the Kyle Kalinski's show. His channel was dead for 2 years straight. All of a sudden,
and he's got blonde,
he still
mind control hair.
He's got mind control hair. Still can't get views, but he does get 30,000 new subscribers a month.
Hey, I need you to write an essay about why it's wrong to run against Joe Biden, except if you're Marianne Williamson, who also has no chance. Go ahead, Kyle.
It drew conclusions that were not his conclusions to draw.
Yeah.
They were not his
conclusions to.
Oh, I'm not an expert on senility.
Yeah. You have to be an expert.
You have to be an expert.
You have to be a neurologist.
Fucking blithering. Okay, he's not senile. He's a blithering. When he wasn't senile, he also sucked and was a liar and a plagiarist. Right?
Yes.
He's probably plagiarizing a better senile guy, I imagine.
So Jason Jones tweeted out, these are the symptoms of dementia.
Yeah, that's not
memory loss, which is usually noticed by someone else. Problems communicating or finding words. Trouble with visual or spatial abilities, such as getting lost while driving. Problems with reasoning or problem solving.
Falling off a bike.
Trouble performing complex tasks, like trying to get off a stage after a speech.
Sniffing stuff.
Trouble with planning and organizing. Poor coordination and control of movements, like falling off a bike.
Sending all your money to Ukraine.
Confusion and disorientation. Psychological changes, personality changes. Well, he's just become angrier.
Letting Israel kill everyone. That's normal for Israel to do that. If you think it's wrong, it's not for you to say. It's for you to pay. That's a rhyme, and that means it's true.
I mean, how can you, if you still turn to MSNBC, like my old roommate does, who I love, turns to MSNBC for news, after watching them just repeat the same word over and over to each other, because you know they got the memo. How could you still do that? How could you still tune into that?
Well, when I was a child, I watched the original Michael Keaton Batman movie over and over and over again because it comforted me as a fucking child.
Because it comforts them.
And so now the right and left, you know, the right's your feminine side and the left's your man logic side. So everything they do is based around destroying one or both of those hemispheres. So the kid, your subconscious, is home alone so they can molest it and install their dick in your fucking brain so you just jizz out whatever they want you to jizz out. Sorry to be a poet about it, but that's
that was
what it
very
is.
Poetic, Kurt.
Yeah.
You really...
I'm writing a book on esoterica.
Hey, come see us. We're telling jokes in Philadelphia, Boston, Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Cortland, New York, Oakmont, Pennsylvania, and El Paso and San Antonio, Texas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.